G'day and welcome to Cities Skylines. We're back in Amity Bay, a modded Let's Play series on my channel. So in this video, I want to introduce trams. They're such a cool mode of transport and probably one of my favourite alongside trains. We had a great suggestion from Dracket in a previous video, so we're going to install some trams in this video. So if we just take a look here, I think we could definitely use them to replace the buses that we've got on Bridgewater. We probably won't need any, or very few, after we install them here. Then the most efficient system I think would be to make say 3 loops. One for the northern part of this island, one loop for the southern, and then one loop that takes in our little retail park here, and then maybe loops around this yet to be built on piece of land. Then if we zoom in here on our bus terminal we made, this would be an ideal place for the multiple modes of public transport to converge. So we have buses obviously, we will have trains once we get that up and running, and we could get trams coming in here too. A little custom tram terminal would make a super addition, so we're not trying to shoehorn some kind of asset in here, which I think would maybe be too big and destroy our nice little plaza area. The other thing that's been missing from the build so far is bike lanes as well, so I think while we're doing a little work on putting in roads with tram lines, let's get some little cycle highways going as well, and maybe pop on the city planning policy encourage biking, and get some more cars off the roads as well, shall we? Cool, okay, let me build this out, and while I do, let's fast forward. Okay, now let's see what we've got here. So starting in what was our Fairview bus terminal here, now renamed Fairview Transit Terminal, as we now have buses, trains, although they're not connected yet, and now trams. As you can see, I've created effectively 3 areas for trams to stop now. One is a 2-lane one-way road with tram lane from the Snowfall DLC, and the other 2 are just one-way tram tracks. Now why one way? Well, we really don't have a lot of room to play with in here, to be honest. Not if we maintain this little strip of trees here, which I actually really like as a buffer between this plaza and park area and the roundabout and highway entrance that sit just behind here. I think in an ideal world, we'd have them going both directions and then we'd avoid the crisscross down here on this intersection, but I'm okay with this, to be honest. I like how this looks, and it's not like we have so much traffic down here that it's going to back anything up at the end of the day. Here you can see I've used the 6-lane road with tram tracks, bus and bicycle lanes, another Snowfall DLC road. I'm really trying to use as many roads from the game as possible. We have so many to choose from now. I'm less bothered by the ones on the workshop. The bus lanes here are a no-brainer, and the bike lanes I've continued around this area and over in Bridgewater, which I'll show you in a sec. One thing you probably will notice here is the bus terminals have been swapped out. I popped in 2 compact bus stations to replace the ones we had in here before. What was happening when I was building this out, if I just jump into this view, for some reason the bus lines were jumping over here and around through here rather than following the road around. I did play around with it for a while, but the only way I could get it to stop was if they were moved right back away from that road there, which then encroaches on our park area up this end. So I've gone with a smaller station and that works fine now. I think these look really nice, so it's not like they don't fit in with our area here, but I don't want things sandwiched in on top of each other, so I think this is a better choice for us here, and we'll use the other assets somewhere else instead. One last thing to mention here too, you probably saw me obsessing over these bus and tram roads here. The reason for that is simple, because I like to make sure that the tram lines I laid down have a nice sweeping turn, not a sharp 90-degree turn. If you make them sort of wider and more of a sweep, then the trams glide around the bends so nicely. Try it out for yourself and you'll see. Righto. If we follow this around, I've dabbled in some intersection marking tool here, not gone too crazy, but just kept the coloured strips for the bus and bike lanes continuing on through the intersection, as I think that looks really smart. I really am not an IMT pro, but I do enough I think to make things look polished. Let me know what you think anyway. I'm sure there are experts out there watching who could give me a few pointers, and I'm always happy to learn new tricks. Then the same down here as we swing around past the festival area. I've then switched to the 2-lane road with median, tram tracks and bike lanes to take us over to Bridgewater. No real reason other than aesthetics here, to be honest. I just really like the way it looks. We can see what it's like traffic wise as this all settles in, and swap it out if it's causing any issues. So far it's okay though, and I think obviously the trams are preferred by the Sims, so it's taking a lot of cars off the road here. Then I've kept this going right around Bridgewater, creating a cycling path that stretches back from Fairview all the way over here. You'll have seen that I put on the encourage biking city planning policy, so that should help get people out on their bikes using these bike lanes instead of cars. So one loop is for this part of the island. Technically it's north even though it looks east from this angle. And then we have one loop to service the other end of the island, both terminating back at our transit terminal. Then I really wanted to get a line going to service our big box retail we'd put in previously, so I've created a third loop and that heads around the other side, covers our retail area, right up past our Memorial Park, a stop further on to cover that part of the suburb, and then right around in a loop. There's no stops around the undeveloped area, we can add those in later as we build that out. On all 3 loops we have a clockwise and counterclockwise direction, so 3 areas are covered, but it's 6 lines in total. Then, if we jump back over here, I've put our tram depot underneath this rail line. I just saw this spot and thought I've got to try and squeeze it in here if I can. Such a perfect spot for it. And with a bit of jiggery pokery, I've managed to get it under that rail line. The gradient on that to the station just here is still 2%, which is realistic. and I just think that looks great under there, and because it has such a nice brick facade, I think it's okay sitting against this road here. And there we have it. So not really too much detailing required for this one, other than the tram stops we've put in at our transit terminal and a little around the depot. So if we do that, then I think we'll close out with a first person tram ride around the city. Right, 2 seconds and I'll sort this out. So let's take a look. Not too much detailing, but if we zoom into the tram stops at our transit terminal here, just some park fencing between the tram tracks so nobody strays onto the track accidentally. Then really simple in between, picking up the horse chestnut tree from the plaza and just dotting a few of those in the middle there. Then some flowers, which I think gives a nice little pop of colour. Plenty of seating for Sims while they wait on their tram. A few little tinky flower beds here, I just like that pop of yellow on them. Then just leaving some green grassy areas as well. There was an awkward space in between the bus stations, so a formal planter in there, repeat trees and repeat flowers, then some seating, and this area is pretty much there. Then over to our tram depot. The usual decals to rough up the concrete here and make it look well used. Some greenery and fencing to secure the perimeter around these buildings, as we wouldn't want Sims just walking through here. This has turned into a mini maintenance area now with the tram depot, road maintenance depot and park maintenance building. A few props and some trees along the side here and we're good. I also changed the colour of the Bridgewater tram line to orange to match your YouTube profile picture as well. And renamed this tram depot after you as well. Thanks again for the suggestion and I hope you like it. So seeing as we've got these new tram lines in now, let's close out today with a first person tram ride. One of our viewers' suggestions was for a first person train ride, but probably at the moment that wouldn't be very thrilling as our train line doesn't meander anywhere exciting just yet. But trams we can do, so I hope you enjoy this. Before I go, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. If you're on Discord, jump over to my Discord community and say g'day and chill out with us. And until next time, take care, have a great day, and thanks again for watching. Righto, cue the cinematic!